the more spiritually enlightened you are when it comes to your identity or queer identity, having a queer awakening, love and compassion become a central theme in your life. And it's love and compassion for yourself, first of all, because you fill yourself up, but then you can give that to other people and help them with that as well. Because self-love and acceptance, it fosters compassion towards other people. Because you have gone through the depths and your struggles, and you've been there and you've been able to come out the other side better for it and come from a place of self-love and acceptance. And then what's next? Compassion towards others as well. Welcome to the Queer Quest podcast, your beacon of light and sprinkle of glitter in the queer community. I'm your host, Cristiano Green, CEO and founder of Queer Quest and a transformation coach for queer individuals. And together, we're embarking on a journey of transformation. Each week, we bring you a new training topic or connecting with visionary queer leaders in healing and coaching, diving deep into conversations that inspire growth, celebrate diversity, and empower you to live authentically. So wherever you are, settle in and let's get ready to unlock the vibrant potential within. This is where your quest begins. Hello, all you fabulous souls, and welcome to another episode of the Queer Quest podcast. I'm your host, Cristiano Green, the CEO and founder of Queer Quest and a transformation coach for people in the queer community. So this week, I really wanted to have a deeper discussion around having a queer awakening and how having a queer awakening is also a spiritual experience, a spiritual journey. It's spiritual enlightenment. So really, we're going to delve deep in today so that you can kind of probably understand some of the things that maybe you've been already thinking about, or maybe bring up some ideas that might be very new to you, but all in the same way. It's going to be something that I think is relevant and exciting and a good topic to talk about this week. So what is a queer awakening? Now, a lot of people may hear the concept queer awakening and be thinking like, oh, okay, so that's coming out of the closet as, as gay, as lesbian, as bisexual, as pansexual, right? Or it could be, understanding and going on a deeper journey of your own gender identity, meaning that you could be non-binary, gender fluid, transgender, right? That's what a lot of people might really kind of think of as a queer awakening. And first of all, you probably wouldn't be wrong if that's kind of what you thought. But really where I'm going today is I want us to talk a little bit deeper about that, because every single person who comes out or accepts themselves doesn't necessarily go on a spiritual journey towards it. Some people may just see it as a thing that they do, right? Now, the layers of us going deeper into our queer identity means that we can really start to look at the whole experience of being queer as spiritual enlightenment, as a spiritual journey. And if we start to think about it a little bit differently, we can start to really understand that, like, as we uncover some of those layers, all those things that have been holding on to us, holding us back, holding us constrained within our body, within our mind, within our soul, and we start to really, like I said, take off those layers, take off those masks, take off the locks, the shackles, we start to realize we become more free. We start to live more authentically. We start to find more inner peace. And if you kind of look at that, that is also a journey of spiritual enlightenment. So really what I'm trying to get at for people who are in the queer community, the more that you can go down that journey of self-acceptance, self-realization, self-actualization, and really delve deeper into the core being of you and what being queer means to you and how it can, of course, add to your life and enhance it in many ways physically with your surroundings, but it also can do that spiritually for you on a deeper level as well. So really a lot of people, if you look back over history, there are a lot of different, indigenous and Eastern and other global traditions where people revere queer individuals in spiritual roles. So meaning there are certain places where you might see those people who are in higher spiritual roles, and when you look deeper into it, they're actually queer individuals themselves. So over history and in the past, queer people have been, risen to a kind of higher position in certain areas because of that, because they believe that those people have delved deeper into their own selves, into their own spiritual selves, and are able to share that and spread that with the world as well. So it's not just something that's a new concept. It's something that's been going on for centuries, if not longer, where, like I said, people in those positions do get, raised up because people are looking for guidance. And sometimes, like I said, those people who've gone through the depths of their soul and have had to overcome a lot of stuff, but then can still find inner peace and happiness, those people are the mentors that you want to look for. Those are the people, the role models that you want to look for. And so again, those people can be pushed forward, which is why I see, like, a lot of people who come to me as clients or just have questions for me, they look up to me because of, the journey that I've been on, of being able to go through a lot of depths and struggles and rock bottoms and, addictions, and pull myself out of it to get to a place of happiness and joy and fulfillment and success. And I'm nowhere near the end of the journey for me. I'm only, halfway through, if that. But what I'm saying is this, sometimes as you see someone who's committed to the path, committed to that journey, you want to go, how do I get on the journey? If this person is having all of these kinds of experiences, what can I do to kind of be around that, be amongst that? And what am I missing within my own self that I can't get to that place? Because we can all get there. It's just sometimes we have different belief systems. Sometimes we have different roadblocks. Sometimes we also, may not believe it's possible. And that's why, again, having the conversation, sharing these kinds of topics around spirituality, around the queer awakening is important because, like I said, it is a journey. It is a journey that takes a long time to get to. And sometimes these kinds of journeys of enlightenment or, queer awakenings, you never reach the end goal because the important part of it is the journey, not the destination. And so really spirituality and queerness, there is no end point to get to. It's actually just all about the journey that you're going on in life. And, when we talk about life as a spiritual person, we talk about not only on the physical plane, but we talk about in the spiritual plane as well. So what's happening around you in the effort, in the universe, all of that stuff as well. Because like I said, right here, we are, spiritual beings living a human experience right now. So if you're someone who's spiritual and you kind of have those beliefs, your spirit's been here before. Your spirit's had different experiences, and it's put you in this experience as a queer person to continue your spiritual enlightenment. Could you continue your spiritual journey and to continue your, self-expression as, like I said, as a spiritual person, so that you can take this and maybe you can also help other people on that journey as well, which is really cool, right? So if we're talking about, the queer awakening and the spiritual importance of living authentically, it's important to note that the more you can live in alignment with who you are and what you believe deep within you, meaning your spiritual side, and you start living that authentically in this physical world as the being that you are in this world, you'll start to realize how authentic that is for you and your spiritual journey as well. Because when you can be aligned spiritually, physically, mentally, that's the mind, body, spirit connection, how much better life can be when you're completely aligned with what your spirit wants, what your physical body wants, and what your mind is doing. That you can, like I said, you can actually live in that world, in all three worlds, authentically, because you're doing what you want. You're being who you are, and you're thinking the thoughts that are aligned with with the future that you want to live, right? Because again, you have to really realize that all three of them need to be in alignment for you to really have that true authenticity, to truly live life. And have that queer awakening means that you are owning yourself because your spirit led you here. You have been led here. None of who you are and what you've done is wrong. It's all been a part of the plan to get you to where you are. and to where you're going is all about the choices that you make. And you get to be aligned spiritually, physically, and mentally, emotionally as well, because again, they're all connected in some level. And so it's super important if you're going on that journey of spirituality or awakening yourself to what's really going on within the world, that truly living authentically allows you to live with spirit, live with purpose, live with passion. And then, of course, living that way leads you in the direction of, like I said, where you really need to be, where you really want to be. Because at the end of the day, sometimes what we really want, we might say it materialistically, this is what we want. That's not always what we really truly want spiritually and emotionally. And so sometimes we might be physically saying we want this, but we physically, spiritually, and mentally, we need this. And so when you can live authentically, you can really get away from some of the stuff that's the ego, because the ego is the part of you that is telling you that, you deserve all of these things, that you're not good enough. It's the one that's telling you those thoughts that make you maybe make some of those mistakes. Again, there are no mistakes, but what people might class as mistakes. And maybe you're not coming from your truest, authentic self when you listen to ego. So it's about knowing what is the difference between what's the mind, the ego part of you is telling you from a place of maybe hurt or pain or triggers or, whatever it is, right? The world around you gives us a lot every single day. And that can lead our mind to lead on to certain thoughts. So that's why if we're talking about it on the spiritual realm, the spirit is the leader here. And we should allow it to guide us, but we have to be connected to it, which is why living authentically allows us to have a better mind, body, spirit connection as well. And as you can probably understand, it leads to inner peace and self-alignment, which of course is something that if you're on that journey of spirituality, you're also trying to go on there as well. So it makes more sense to say that, hey, if I'm trying to live authentically, which that leads me to inner peace and self-alignment, then me living authentically means I'm also living a spiritual experience, going on a spiritual journey and working towards spiritual alignment as well. Now, the whole idea and the whole concept of breaking free from societal constructs. Because when we talk about societal constructs, they've been created by people who are looking to control us, looking for us to live, their agenda. And really how when we go about challenging, the heteronormative, the cisgender normative roles in life, this can be a form of spiritual liberation. Because being liberated means that we are the ones that get to decide how we live our life. And we don't need to listen to the masses, to the majority, to those people who are telling us, you need to do this, you need to fit into this box. Because when you really can step away from it and really go deeper into your own journey and you look at the world and go, why does it matter who I'm with? Why does it matter how my gender expresses itself? Why does it matter that for me to live my life, and who does it affect if me living my life authentically has nothing to do with anybody else, right? Because except for, for example, if I'm in a relationship and I'm in a consenting, happy relationship with another adult person who is of the same sex or the other sex, it doesn't matter, right? Because these two people here aren't doing anything to anybody else. So same thing when it comes to your gender expression, you choosing to express yourself and see yourself as your truest, authentic self when it comes to your gender. And again, that could be gender fluid, agender, it could be non-binary, transgender, right? Whatever it is, you doing you doesn't affect anybody else in this world. So us being able to really understand that we challenge these norms and these roles, it's a form of spiritual liberation. And of course, it can come with a lot of backlash because there's people over here trying to continue the form of control over us and tell us how we should live and tell us X, Y, Z. But really, it's about the concept of the soul versus the societal labels. Your soul doesn't have a label. It's just is. It's just being. It's just trying to express itself as the truest form of who you are. And so you going down the journey of, like I said, your queer identity and, questioning all of these societal constructs, societal norms, and then following it down that path, it's total spiritual liberation. It's total spiritual enlightenment. It's totally a queer awakening. So again, we don't need all the labels, right? It would be nice for us to be able to be who we are without the labels. But of course, society actually puts those labels onto us, right? We had to come up with queerness and gayness because we were the others. And for us to feel a part of a community, to feel like we were part of a movement, or to feel like that, like there's nothing wrong with us, we had to come up with a label. Or again, because other people putting on negative labels on us. So we had to reclaim labels, we had to rewrite the history. But again, at the end of the day, our soul level doesn't give a schneider about any of those labels, right? It only cares about you being your most authentic self and truly, truly having a deeper connection to the divine that we are. Because really embracing our queerness, embracing our queer identity, it enhances our connection to a higher power, or what people call the universe, whatever that is for you. We all understand higher power, God, the universe. So I don't need to go into that today because like we're living in 2024. I think everyone gets what I'm talking about. But you embracing yourself, living authentically, again, it's going to enhance your connection to that higher power, right? Because you living your truest form of who you are, it's about that enlightenment. It's about transcendence, and it's about unity. Because when you're living your truth, you're living authentically, you are spiritually, mentally, physically connected to that higher power. And so that means you can tap into it and know, again, those of us who've gone through the journey and are really at a place of self-acceptance with ourselves, we know there's nothing wrong with us. We know that, we're truly living and expressing ourselves authentically. And we know that we come from a place of love. So those other people out there who are trying to, shift that or change that or control us in any way, we don't want to allow them because, they're probably trying to have us disconnected from the divine, disconnected. Because again, when we are more open to the divine, to seeing the truth and to be connected to our highest power, that scares some people out there, right? People don't want us to be, living our own lives and being happy and being connected because it's a cultural place of lack of control. We're no longer fearing those people who have tried to shame us and to try to put us into these boxes and label us and do what we need to do. We're changing the movement. And so some people don't like that because they fear that it's going to change the rest of the world. And the rest of the world does need to change. It does need to start being more accepting of us in this queer community because there are many reasons why. And many of those meaning that, the more we are working together in this world, the more success and happiness we can all create. But again, having the division between us for our queerness, for our race, for our, people's religious views, for all of the things, right? It creates this divide, it creates this tension, and then it creates like it's a bits and bits is over here. Whereas if everyone was working together towards a similar belief system and a similar love and we would probably, take down some of the powers that be. And so those people probably don't like that and they want control. They want to do all those things. And again, that is that. I can't control it and I'm not going to try to control it either. I'm just going to try to work towards me sharing the message in the best, that I know how so that I can support other people in this community who are looking to have that queer awakening, who are looking for more spiritual enlightenment, who are wanting to go deeper into their journey and know that who they are authentically, it's absolutely amazing. And you need to live from that place. Because when you live from that place, you start doing things differently across every area of your life. You start showing up differently. You start helping other people. You start knowing what your purpose is. You start being from a place of passion and fulfillment and joy. And you start wanting to share that and spread that to every other person around you. Because when you come from love, you don't want to bring someone else down. You want to bring them up, right? So that's what we're talking about, the role of love and compassion. The more spiritually enlightened you are when it comes to your identity, your queer identity, having a queer awakening, love and compassion become a central theme in your life. And it's love and compassion for yourself, first of all, because you fill yourself up, but then you can give that to other people and help them with that as well. Because self-love and acceptance, it fosters compassion towards other people. Because you have gone through the depths and your struggles, and you've been there and you've been able to come out the other side better for it and come from a place of self-love and acceptance. And then what's next? Compassion towards others as well. Are you ready to embark on a journey of transformation that's uniquely yours? Welcome to QueerQuest, the world's first and best personal development platform created by and for the queer community. Imagine a space where your authenticity isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. A place where you can grow, learn, and thrive alongside a vibrant community that understands you. At QueerQuest, we're more than just a platform. We're a family. Connect with like-minded individuals, share your stories, and empower each other to reach new heights. Our tailored courses are designed to address the unique experiences of the queer community, from self-love and confidence building to career advancement and beyond. We've got you covered. It's time to step into your power and transform your journey. Join us today at courses.queerquest.vip, see what we're all about, and sign up to begin your quest. Now, when we talk about it, this whole community that we have, the queer community, not everyone in the queer community is actually on board with being part of the queer community. Not everyone in the queer community wants to label themselves as queer. Now, queer is anyone that is in the LGBTQIA plus community, anyone on the spectrum of sexuality or gender or differing relationships or things that kind of go against the societal norms, right? So for us, I see it as a higher being. Yes, there are definitely a whole range of subsections and a whole range of differing personalities, and it's a very complex system and community. But spiritually, at its core, we're bonded with other people in this queer community because we've also gone through so many similar experiences. And when you do that, you can look into someone else's soul and say, I see you. I see what you've been through. I get it. It's been tough. And this is where the love and the compassion will come in, because some people need it more than others. Some people don't want to receive it. Some people aren't ready for it because they can't give it to themselves. But if you show up and you give it to yourself and you're open to giving it to others without any need of getting it back in return, that might be the one thing that is needed for that person who really, really needs that love and compassion to say, hey, maybe, just maybe if they can do it and they've been through something similar as me, maybe I can do it as well. This is why I believe the queer experience, the queer awakening is at its core a spiritual journey, a spiritual experience, a spiritual enlightenment. And so for going through your journey of healing and of growth and of transformation, and in whatever form that is, because there are so many beautiful modalities around the world that can be absolutely phenomenal there, which is why, what we do at QueerQuest is we try to bring that forth in with the queer flavor, right? We want to learn from the queer experts. If I'm going on a journey of queer excellence, I need to learn from queer experts. And maybe some of the modalities weren't created by queer people, but when they're taught by queer people from the queer experience, you get it. And they just hit you differently. They heal you differently. They help you transform differently. And so being able to do that in a community, which is why I've created QueerQuest in the first place, then, you'll understand that. And if you want to understand more about that, I'm not going to explain it here because I'm focusing on the topic, but check out courses.queerquest.vip and you'll understand what I'm talking about when I talk about what QueerQuest is and how it's going to support you if you're someone who's wanting to go deeper into your own spirituality, your queer awakening. You want to understand it more. Check out courses.queerquest.vip. Anyway, going back to that, there's so many modalities, learning from queer experts with a queer community who supports you and guides you. it's a collective, beautiful community. And again, finding that kind of community when so many of us out there have believed that, you know, there isn't a really, there isn't a place for me within this because I've been so, I felt like I've been hurt by so many people in this community before. But the truth is that hurt people hurt people. We've hurt people and we've hurt ourselves, right? And we've been hurt by others. So it comes this cycle. And for us to go on that queer awakening means that we are clearing out those things that have held us back, that have held us down, and say, look, no more. I'm not allowing that. And I'm going to create something and be a part of a community that is different, that wants to see me thrive because they are thriving themselves. And like I said, when you come from that place of love and compassion, you only have love and compassion to give. When you come from a place of hurt, you only have hurt to give. So maybe this is the question for you to come out of today is, am I ready for a queer awakening? It's, where do I want to come from? Do I want to come from a place of hurt or do I want to come from a place of love? And then you'll figure out what answer that is to your question that you have coming to this podcast today. And the whole point of being able to do that is to heal. Now, so many of us in this community have dealt with things such as, religious trauma or, family trauma from the experience that we've had as queer individuals. And there has been so many challenges faced when it comes to faith and, your traditional, the tradition that you have within your family or within, like I said, within that faith. And there's conflicts when it comes to your identity because of what you've been told and what people have been trying to push you into. And being able to go down that journey of queer awakening and having that spiritual enlightenment, this is about really reconciling your spirituality with queerness, because a lot of people think spirituality is religion. And then because of the experiences that we've had religious trauma, we dump religion and spirituality into the same bucket. They're not. Yes, you can go on that journey of spirituality and religion is a form of getting you there if you're, it can be, but you don't have to go down that route to get to a form of spirituality for yourself as well. And so being able to go on that queer awakening allows you to reconcile spirituality with your queerness as well. Because again, that is just probably like what so many people in this community really need, is to reconcile that conflict they have, that back and forth, that push and pull between spirituality and queerness as well. Now, when we look at this over centuries, we have to start realizing that there are influential queer figures out there that are trying to help create a spiritual movement. And again, it's hard to really think of so many out there, right? But what we need to do is do the research, be around the community and really form something. It's like creating our own movement when it comes to this is vital, because it's going to help bring things forward, bring things to the light, help people to really, see how much queer people have contributed to this world, contributed to spirituality, and also have such an impact on this place and have a legacy to live. And it's our our whatever you might call right or responsibility to be able to continue those legacy and to push forth the queer awakening that people need. Again, queer awakenings aren't for every single human being. They're not even they're not even right for every single queer person. I'm not trying to preach today to say that every queer person needs to be going on a queer awakening, because it's about what's right for you. I'm just probably talking to the people who are still listening to this podcast and really understanding that it's important that if I really feel like I want to reach my full potential and I want to go on that journey of spirituality and I want to have some enlightenment and I feel like I want to be awakened, maybe having that queer awakening and really understanding the concept and going deeper into it is something that's important for me to be able to do as well. And so again, everyone has their choices of what they need to do. But I hope you get to think about this and start going about it when it comes to that as well. Because when we talk about, your queer identity, there are so many things that can play into your identity as well, right? And so when we talk about intersectionality, which is like your overlapping identities, which could be your sexuality, your gender, your race, your, where you are culturally in the world, where you grew up, all of these different things can create your identity. They can also enrich your spiritual experience. So it's also being able to understand that me, like that every single queer person is not the same. And that's the beauty of what I'm trying to get at when it comes to having a queer awakening. It's about you truly living authentically for who you are. And that means looking at the other areas of who you are. It might be that there's a part of you that really accepts your sexuality, but you struggle with your race because of the way that the world treats you. Going on a queer awakening will actually help you with that, because when you can start accepting and really loving all of those parts of you, you have more love to give. And then maybe that love and the compassion that's helping you over here starts to help those other areas. So it's really about looking at you and going like, you are a unique individual. You come with a complete set of experiences, DNA, like different, identities that form who you are. And no one else is just like you. And so really being able to own that authentically and really bring that unique perspective, that diverse, unique perspective, then we start to really see like where we're going, where the movement that we're having is important for us as well. So really trying to embrace all of that intersectionality is a super key point that we're trying to get at as well. It's like, just because of this, like you need to look at everything, because the queer awakening takes into consideration all those other things, because your experience as a queer person, you might be a minority in some of these areas, but when you put it all together, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at its core, but it's important to own those things in this world that we're in. But at your soul and your spiritual level, there's 100,000 different ways to get to where you want to go. And there's no one right way that someone tells you. I'm not trying to tell you that there's only one right way to get there, because gosh, like if there was only one way, I've gone down the wrong path of thousands, right? The path there can, like I said, that the path that you're on is your path, and your experiences in life and all these other things, they make that up as well. And it's important for us to really go deep into this, because we need to talk about transforming our pain into growth, transforming our traumas into triumphs, right? How much stuff do we carry with us that maybe wasn't even asked to carry in the first place? Someone gave it to us, someone gave us some baggage, and we decided to put it in our bags. And it weighs us down, it holds us back. We can't get there. So really understanding that, like, if I'm at the gym and I'm carrying a whole lot of weights, the more weight, I'm going to become stronger. And yes, you become stronger, but that doesn't mean you need to continue to carry those weights because that strength is always going to be there. So it's easy now to realize that, yes, I am strong, but I'm not, and I'm strong because I've had to, carry a lot of on my shoulders, had to deal with a lot, but I can unload that and I can still continue to be strong. So I can transform that pain into growth and see it differently, reframe it in my mind, and have that spiritual growth at the same time. Because you've gone through a lot, yes, but you've learned a lot because of that as well. And you overcoming the discrimination and the hardships and the struggles in life means that we can share our narratives of resilience and empowerment with each other and continue to grow because of that. You have a story, you have a message, you have something important to share. It's your point. It's your duty to try to understand that, to really get clear on your narrative, and then share it with someone else. Because I bet you, if you shared it, you'd realize how much you could help someone else who's going through that as well. Wow, I feel like we're really delving into a lot today, and I love it. I think this is a great topic, and I really want to make sure that, like, you guys out there, like, as you're following along, if you've got stuff, comment below, reach out to me, send me messages of your experience of what, of your queer awakening, or where you're at and you want to go further. If you've got questions about it, make sure you're doing that, because really the whole nature of our queer identity and a spiritual journey, it's a very fluid nature, right? It comes with a lot of concepts, and it's, impermanent, and there's flow towards it, and it's ever evolving and growing and changing, and it's so fluid. And so for us, it's about really going and saying, hey, look, Like, it doesn't have to be this one strict way of it being. And there is no, like I said, as we said, there's, a million ways to get where you need to go. And it being fluid is because of that as well. Meaning it's going to be great. You're going to have this highs points, and then maybe there's going to be some struggles, and it's going to question things. And those questions are going to help you to break down some of the concepts that you have that are holding you back from your truest, authentic awakening of as a queer person and your whole spiritual identity and journey that you're going on. So really, I want you to embrace the fluidity and know that it doesn't have to be the same today as it is tomorrow. It's ever changing, ever evolving, and so are you as well. Now, of course, along the path, we know there's so many challenges, but there are also so many triumphs as well. So I want you to really, truly acknowledge all of the struggles that you have faced during this journey, during this queer awakening, right? And like I said, there is no destination, it's the journey. So on this path, we continue on, right? We're continuing it. We don't get to the end, right? Because again, we're going to continue. We're humans right now. And we need to know that there's going to be struggles, there are going to be challenges. But we know that we have built up the strength and resilience to overcome any of those. And as we do, we continue our queer awakening. We continue our spiritual enlightenment. And along that path, we get to celebrate the triumphs and the milestones that we achieve along this spiritual path, because it's a beautiful journey to go on as well. And I really find that it's something that for all of us that we really, truly need to get like a deeper understanding of as well. And it's important for us as we go along this journey that maybe we've been walking on this journey alone for a very long time. I remember only a few short years ago, I felt very, very alone as a queer person. I didn't feel like people understood me. I didn't feel like there were other queer people like me. And because of that, I would use many different forms of substances to kind of, deal with the loneliness and deal with the other mental health issues that came about me feeling like there wasn't spaces for it. And so I got to a point where enough was enough. And I said, you know what? I have to start living my truth. I've had so many rock bottom moments, and this time enough was enough. I personally need to do the work on me. And I also need to know that on this journey, I am open and I'm ready to meeting other people in the queer community that are like me. And if they can't find a place like I couldn't find a place, then I will create a place, which is again why I created Queer Quest, a place for people who are open to that queer awakening, who are open to that spiritual alignment, who are truly open to having a community that is inclusive and safe and supportive and affirming of who we truly are. And that's the beauty of life, and that's the beauty of Queer Quest. So again, my path has shown itself because of the struggles that I've had to overcome. And the struggles being that I felt completely alone and on my own. And now I've been able to move forward in that as well. And so what's the future of queer spirituality? The future of a queer awakening? It's ever evolving, it's fluid. And there's a landscape of spirituality within the queer community that is just opening up our eyes to the truth, which is why it's important to be participating, to finding those spaces again that are shaping inclusivity and in shaping spiritual narratives that are formed from our queer experiences. Again, that is my mission in life, is to get Queer Quest out to the world, because I want it to be a place for people to have their queer awakenings and to find their queer tribe and family, and know that like going on this journey, it can be scary at times, but you do not have to do it alone. I did a lot of mine on my own, but you don't have to. And I'm sure you guys have been doing a lot of yours on your own, but no longer I am needing to. I'm in my era of community, in my era of inclusivity, in my era of truly giving back. Okay. I feel like I've really delved into this topic a lot. And I really just want to reiterate the profound connection between your queerness and spirituality, and that having your queer awakening is also about having your spiritual enlightenment. And I think it's important that we don't have to do this alone. We can do it together. We can support each other. We can see growth and changes and evolution. And maybe, just maybe, the more of us that come together, we can actually start to see social constructs shifting, political things shifting towards helping us and supporting us and moving us in the right direction, so that we as queer individuals and as a queer community are feeling seen, feeling heard, and feeling understood. I'm going to leave it there. Again, if you've got anything that you want to share, feel free to comment below or reach out to me on social media. I love hearing from all of you guys, and I'm open to anything that you have to share, whether it's in agreement with what I'm saying, whether it's adding on to what I'm saying, or even if you have a point of view that is different to mine. Share it with me. I'm always open to having a great conversation that I believe is important in this community and also in this world. But until next time, when we have another episode, I want you to always remember that you've got this and I've got you. Bye for now.